My full name is Bridgit Agatha Sam-Bailey. I wasn't born here. My younger days were spent in the colony of British Guiana. We're now independent within the Commonwealth. I remember singing for a concert when I was about 10, and so it was an all-day affair with dignitaries from all over the country being there, and in the evening I had to sing Who is Sylvia? After the concert, it was not too far from where we lived, and we were walking home. My father walked me home and he was holding my hand, and everybody was coming up to him and complimenting him on the way that I sang. That was my first public engagement. So I carried on singing from there until my father decided I was becoming too popular. And as a girl, I shouldn't be popular. The boys could do what they wanted to do within reason. They could go where they wanted to go within reason. But the girls were supposed to be indoors, not seen. In 1965, I went back home on a holiday, and I went to church with my father. And when the church members, the congregation, saw me there, they immediately asked my father if I was going to sing. Well, I wouldn't back down from that. So I sang, don't remember what I sang, but on the way home he said to me, "You always had a good voice, and I'm sorry I prevented you from singing." More than one reason. I wanted to get away from a very strict father. And I wanted to study. And I came and I did that. I achieved everything: shorthand typewriting, economics, law, and business studies generally. And then I decided, when I was working in the Home Office, I decided I wanted to go into teaching. In my early years, working in offices, working in government, I experienced no racism whatsoever. I was promoted equally with the others, and it was an easy job. But then when I went to teacher training college, that's when I started to experience racism. It was so bad that one foreign student, committed suicide, and another one went into an asylum, ended up in an asylum. Towards the end of my studies, I wrote an article for the newspaper. After this thing had been published, the principal came down. He went to every classroom asking who had written that article. When he came into ours, everybody was still, silent. You could hear a pin drop. And he was just about to walk out when I put my hand up and said, "I did it." And he took me to his office. So everyone now in the class thought maybe they wouldn't see me again, that, I was going to have to leave. But instead, he wanted to know exactly what was going on. And he said, "Not in my university." I was asked to help the children on a project about the war years. And I said I would only do so if they took a global perspective. And the head of the department asked me what I meant by that. I said, well, Britain didn't fight the war on its own. And I enlightened her, about, I didn't use the word Windrush, but I enlightened her that a lot of people came from the Caribbean to fight for the mother country. The Jamaicans in particular were anxious to send, or proud to send, their sons to England to fight for the mother country. But this wasn't known, it wasn't appreciated, and it's now in the 21st century, only in the 21st century, that it's being talked about in schools, and people are beginning to take heed and acknowledge that, we served our time. One of the boys who attended, well, he wasn't a student at that place, he was doing janitorial work whilst he was studying for his A levels. His parents were back in Nigeria. He decided he wanted to apply for this job at Birkbeck College. And he brought the application form for me to overlook it. And when I saw the way in which it was done, handwritten and not very nicely presented, I said, "What's this? Who's going to take this? This is the first thing they see about you. They've never seen you before. This is what they see." And I took it home and I sat down and I typed it up for him and made sure it was presentable, and he did that, and he got the job. And he was a lecturer at Birkbeck College. And he took me in one day to show me his department. And he showed me the filing cabinets. There were people coming in from overseas to study in his department. And he showed me around the place, and he took me to lunch. And he was introducing me as his mom. One day in the papers, I read something about Lewisham Pensioners Forum, and I went along to the meeting, and they were talking about sending people to Blackpool to represent the forum at the NPC, the National Pensioners Convention. I put my hand up to go because it sounded interesting, and I ended up going to Blackpool for 3 days or 4 days and representing the forum at the meeting, and that's where it started. There were some people there who were very racist, and that's continued until now, that some people just joined the forum. I'm the chairman of the forum. The manager is black. I'm black. And a lot of the committee members are black. And I'm afraid to say some of them do not like being led by black people. I've not spoken out loudly about it, but I'm speaking now. And so much so, they've tried to sabotage us. I'll end there on that one. Well, on the side of joy, when I succeed at something, if I do something for someone and it turns out to be good, I feel I've achieved something. If I've spoken to someone, well, try and don't worry about it, be strong, If I comfort that person, I feel I've achieved something. Just keep going, keep on trucking. Don't be slapped down. Stand up. As a young girl, a little girl growing up, I was very extroverted. And sometimes it annoyed other children. They thought it was competitive. But then I always won in the long run because I did what I wanted to do and I achieved what I wanted to achieve.